Hi, guys, and welcome to the Tranquil Cottage Knits podcast. I'm your host, Michelle. You can find me on Ravelry as Tranquil Cottage, Instagram is Tranquil Cottage Knits. You can find the blog at www.tranquilcottageKnits.weebly.com, and you can also find the Facebook group by just searching for Tranquil Cottage Knits in your Facebook search bar. So, hi, guys. I hope you've all been well. I believe wholeheartedly spring is on the horizon, and I'm super excited about that. There is just so much going on. And the house is actually, despite it being really rainy and miserable today, our house is kind of warm. So I'm not going to be wearing hand knits for long in here, but I did want to show you what this was. This is my finished Washington Park shawl, and it is knit in Malabrigo Arroyo in the colorway Sir. And it is just a monster of a shawl. It's huge and it's so squishy and I love it so much. The pattern again is Washington Park, and that's by Hannah Maciejewska. And it is just absolutely lovely and very snuggly and very warm, and a little too warm for me to have on in here today. So there is so much to talk about. I have not done a vlog in about a month. Well, I can't say that. I haven't posted a blog in about a month and a half or 2 months. I have recorded like now 3 separate times, and every time I did it, I ended up getting all the way through it, and then there was background noise, and one time the microphone wasn't working, and one time I wasn't happy with the content. So all those things going on just drive me nuts, and so I didn't post it. But now here we are. It is March 18th, and I'm super excited to get back on the horse and start vlogging again. One of the things I have to say, raise your hand if you are so completely over COVID hair. Like the gray, I am so over it. I am so ready for something new, and the closer I get to cracking, like, because, the gray, the closer I get to cracking, the more I think I'm just going to go blue or purple or something outrageous. Um, just to have something new and to just make the leap and do it. I keep thinking that. So are you guys over COVID hair? If so, tell me down in the comments. I want to hear your story. Did you cut your own COVID bangs? Did you? No shame, no judgment. I'm just really curious what you guys are doing, because it is just driving me absolutely nuts. Nuts, I tell you. So I'm playing with my hair a lot because it's just in my face. I am actually using my phone to record today, so we're going to see how the recording quality is. I had a catastrophe where yesterday my phone, I put it up on the counter in the bathroom, and somehow the weight was just slightly off and it fell, and how it landed was like right on the extreme very edge of the curved glass, and it shattered the screen and it won't come up, and so that was a nightmare. Oh, and Callie, leave it alone. She's playing with things that aren't toys. You can sleep with it, you just can't play with it. She's got a giant ball of twine. It's wrapped up in plastic and has a wrapper and everything. So she just, it's daddy's, and she just wanted to snuggle it. So, let's see, where was I? COVID hair don't care. I forget. You know me, the train leaves the station frequently. Train of thought. Oh, um, so I did want to say the pattern that I showed you, the Washington Park shawl, it took 3.5 skeins of the Malabrigo Arroyo. And again, that was colorway Sur, S-U-R. So it was a lovely pattern to knit. Malabrigo is going to be doing another knit along, and they partner with local yarn shops when they do it. So that is a really wonderful thing. My local yarn shop, Knitter's Magic, is definitely participating. I was so excited when I saw that she was going to be participating in this knit along as well. And so they're calling it the sock knit along, but it is a shawl called the Temperance Shawl that is a free pattern on Ravelry, and you use 3 skeins of sock weight yarn for the shawl, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really excited. I, of course, have already chosen my colors. So this is what I'm going with. Oh, aren't they pretty together? So this is Aguas and Disfraz. And this is, I believe, Water Green, which is one of my favorite colorways from Malabrigo. But I think the 3 of these are going to be really beautiful in this shawl together. And one of the things I love, if you catch the light in here just right, you see where a little bit of this kind of tealy blue has this yellowy tinge to it. And so that just kind of picks up in here, and it's so pretty together. So I'm really excited to cast this on. The knit along starts April 1st, and so if you are having any problems getting your yarn, please feel free to contact my local yarn shop. That's Knitter's Magic at 540-550-4011. I had to think there for a second. And Laura can help you get straightened out with your yarn. She does ship, and she only charges actual shipping. A lot of places will do either upcharge for shipping, or they will charge a flat rate for shipping and pocket the difference. But Laura doesn't do that. She just goes ahead and charges whatever the actual shipping cost is. And so she's super easy to deal with, and she had tons of colorways. She just did if you want to see them, she just did a yarn showcase this morning. So if you go to Knitter's Magic Facebook page, you can rewatch the video, and any colorways that you want, any kits that you want for the pattern, you can just text her at that number or give her a call at the same number, and she will be happy to set you up with a kit so that you can do the shawl too. So, super exciting. She'll also get you registered for the knit along so that you are eligible to win prizes from Malabrigo. So that's just, makes me happy. It makes me feel like my mom is watching over me. That's my mom's picture up there. I cannot believe it's been almost 6 years since I lost her. That's like so crazy to me. It feels like just yesterday. So here we go. Temperance Shawl Knit Along. It officially starts April 1st. And there's also a house party app that everybody from Knitter's Magic joins at 10:30 a.m. on every Friday, and it's usually about 2 to 2.5 hours. And you just join in and chit chat and knit to your little heart's content, and it's really kind of like having a knitting group in person. So it kind of saves my sanity sometimes. So I love that she does that she hosts that, and it's just makes me happy. So please feel free to join. You're more than welcome. Let's see. Spring, I think, is the next thing up on my list. So I took the bull by the horns this year and said, we're doing the garden. We tend to, my husband wants to start the garden, and then within about a week, my husband's just like, nah, I'm on to something else. and we are never successful with the garden. So this year I took the bull by the horns. I have planted all of my seedlings and got them started. I did it on a schedule, so I've got them all started, and I planted, let's see, I built, ready? Talk about diving in. I built a hoop house, and I have my strawberries already planted and blooming in my hoop house, which, if you don't know, a hoop house is kind of like a miniature greenhouse, and it's got like plastic sheeting over it, and it gets nice and warm and humid inside. And I made mine with PVC hoops. So you just take I took a 10-foot length of PVC, and let's back up a little bit. Okay, so I have a 4-foot by 8-foot garden bed frame. So that is literally a 2x6 and a 2x6. I'm sorry, 2 by 8x6. So it's 2 inches thick, 8 inches tall, or I'm sorry, 6 inches tall and 8 feet long. There you go. So I have 2 of those, and then I have 1 of those that I cut in half, so it is 4 feet long, and I screwed them together to make a rectangle. Then I took braces, which kind of look like C's with a piece of metal that sticks out on either side, and the metal's got a hole in it. So when you screw them into the frame, which I did on the inside of each corner, and then in 2-foot increments on the inside, so I have 8 braces all along the 8-foot sides. Then you take your 10-foot piece of hoop or 10-foot piece of PVC, half-inch PVC. You put it in one side, you drive it down into the ground a little bit, you bend it over, and you stick it down on the other side and drive that into the ground. So it goes through the braces on each side, plus it's in the ground, so you end up with a hoop. And you do that down the line, so you should end up with 4 hoops, equidistant so you have the end, 2 across the middle, and the 1 at the other end. And then you take your plastic and you staple your plastic along the bottom. I used 6mm thick, just a heavy duty clear plastic. You staple it along one end on one side, 8 feet down. Then I flipped it over, pulled it a bit taut, stapled the other side down, and then on one end I gathered it. You want to gather it so that any water that comes will roll off the top, instead of, if you fold it up, the water gets trapped in that channel. If you fold it down as you plait it, the water just runs over the top. So I did that, gathered it, kind of pulled in like a covered wagon, stapled them all the way across so it had a nice secure back. And the front of it, I did them across, but I cut off all of the extra so that I could open and close the flap to enter it and pull my plants out. So I have, I have 1 batch of microgreens in there started. I have 1 batch of lettuces started. I have 2 batches of strawberries. I got, I want to say it's Quincera strawberries. Starts with a Q, I know. And then the other were Ozark Beauties. So I should have some good strawberries. The next on my agenda is to take some trellis, and this year I'm going to prune my raspberry bushes back really hard, and what's left I'm going to trellis up so that I get much better access to the fruit, because last year they just kind of went wild, and somehow night blooming jasmine got in with it and was just vining over everything, and it was really choking my blackberries. So I'm going to get my raspberries and my blackberries cleaned up and get them on trellises, so that I get access to a lot better fruit this year. Next on the list, talk about ambitious, y'all. I built a chicken coop. I built a chicken coop and we have 6 babies. I have Sylvie, who is a silver lace Wyandotte, Goldie, who is a gold lace Wyandotte. We have Adelaide and Molly, who are sapphire gems, and they are so beautiful and the sweetest, most lovey chicks I've ever seen. And then there is Agatha and Serena, who are Americanas. Serena got her name because she is the bully of the group, and so she is anything but serene. She peeps loudly, constantly, and the other thing is on Bewitched, which I used to love when I was a kid. Serena was a real witch. So she is Serena. And they are just so cute. And when Tracy sees them, I let her hold them and she just gets so excited she tears up and cries. And she's just giggling and crying because she's so overwhelmed, which right there makes it absolutely worth having them. So they're wonderful and sweet and they absolutely warm my heart and it just makes me smile. So, my husband laughingly calls them the chicken nuggets because they're so tiny. I call them the chicky babies. But they are starting to eat from my hand, and they are just such happy little things, and they're just starting to scratch. Tail feathers are coming in, and I'm looking forward to about, hopefully, as long as the weather holds, in about 5 weeks, they're going to be ready to go out in their coop. So I've built a coop and used miles of hardware cloth. And then I do have to finish the run, but I don't think that'll be a problem for me. Sometimes I surprise myself with how industrious I can be. Other times I just feel like a big old lump of yawning and blankets and sleeping. So you never know, right? So the chicky babies have a coop, and I have a garden, which still needs to be finished tilling, but it's rainy today, and I've got rain tomorrow, and then I'll need a day for the soil to dry out, because if there's one thing I know, you do not want to till while you have soaked soil. You will end up with a nasty, clumpy mess. So we're going to let that drain off and dry out a bit. I've been reading so much. My granddaddy had a farm, and my granddad died about 4 months before I was born. But I still remember, my uncle used to go out and plow the land for Grandma and put in the garden and all of that. And I still remember to this day, when you till up the soil, it's like hard on top. It gets hard and hot. And then when they till it up, everything underneath is so smooth and cool. So on a really hot day, which I mean, wear shoes. We're on the farm. Why would we want to wear shoes? On a hot day, when you've just been running outside and playing and your feet are burning, to go stick your feet in that freshly tilled soil and it feels so cool. And then the bits of it that go over the top of your feet, the sun warms up and it warms the top of your feet. It is just like the best feeling in the world. So I looked up like hugelkultur and berms, like a whole bunch of different ways to set up a garden, because we are on a slope, and so I want to do what's going to be most advantageous, A, for our yield, B, for our land, and then C, there was something else, I forget what it is. Not the deer, because I have a fence. The deer's not getting in. That was a couple years ago when we planted a ton of tomatoes, and we got, I think, 1 tomato out of it. And we picked that when it was green and brought it in the house, and then it never ripened. My husband was so disappointed because one tomato got beautifully ripe, and we were going out and like looking at our one tomato every day and just marveling and waiting for this one stupid tomato. My husband comes home one day, and there it is with a bite taken out of it, sitting up in the crook of our tree. And my husband was very angry at me because he thought I picked the tomato, chomped a bite out of it, left it up in the tree to mock him. No, it was Chonker. We have a squirrel in the back that I call Chonker. He is a big chunk of a squirrel, and he picked our tomato, ate a big bite out of it, or several small bites out of it, and left it in the tree. So that was the end of the tomato run. The next year we planted jalapenos, habaneros, and I think cayennes and serranos. And we got a really good yield out of it. We had peppers all summer long, but there's only so much I'm going to be doing with peppers. This year, I pretty much said goodbye to probably what will amount to close to a quarter acre. And I have beans and carrots and onions and peas and broccoli and everything going in. So I'm really excited about it. I'm building a compost bin or compost set of compost bins. So you have your what I laughingly refer to as my good, better, best compost. You have your first bin that you're actually actively working on, which is the one that you're adding to, the one that you are, constantly building up. Then you have your middle bin, which is the stuff that is cooking itself, and you just go in and you turn it, but it's just not ready yet. And then you have the black gold, the one that is already done. And so I am working on getting the 3 bins built. You want them on the ground because you want as much earthworm visitation as you could possibly get. So I'm working on getting my first one going so that hopefully in 4 to 6 weeks I will have some good compost for the garden. Really excited. And I don't expect my eggs, I don't expect any eggs from my layers for several months. So I will just love them in the meantime. They're sweeties. They're such sweeties. And I can't wait to get them out into their run and let them just be happy, happy chickens. So that's exciting too. So there is so much going on here. And I am logging every bit of it that I can as to what we planted, when we planted it, where the seeds came from. Are they heirloom seeds or not? What's the result with each brand? So next year, if I have a bad experience getting one brand to germinate, then I know not to purchase that brand anymore, to go through another company or another brand to get my seeds, so I'm not throwing good money after bad. So I'm documenting everything that I'm doing in the garden, and hopefully it'll be a very successful venture, and we will have lots of yummy things this summer, and hopefully into the winter. So, because I plan on putting up a lot of tomatoes and a lot of salsa. So, cross your fingers for me. Let's see. Lastly, I wanted to show you, I have been decorating my what I call my office space back here. It is in the living room because that's where I spend the most time with Tracy, just being social and hanging out together, and it's where we chit chat and she watches TV. Right now she's napping, so she is sitting like she's never 5 feet away from me. She's sitting less than 5 feet away from me, just napping in her chair for a little while. And so while she did that, I figured I would go ahead and record. And so one of the things that I found when I was decorating this little space for what I call my office is this. And as I knock things over, right? And I got this from Target, and it says, "You belong among the wildflowers." I can't talk today. Have you all noticed this? You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere you feel free. And I don't know if you guys can see, that is a line from one of Tom Petty's songs. I believe it is Wildflowers. But that saying just really spoke to my heart. And so it made me think, are there things that I had never heard that song before seeing this? And it made me go listen to it. So it made me wonder, are there other songs out there that mean something to people, or lyrics that just speak to your heart that maybe I don't know? So that inspired me to do a contest. And so, oh my. So, I have to say, there are other lyrics that have spoken to me over the years. I always call them my theme songs. So, for the longest time when I was young, my theme song was Break My Stride by Matthew Wilder. And the line that just held me was, ain't nothing gonna break my stride, nobody's gonna slow me down. Oh no, I've got to keep on moving. Nothing's gonna break my stride, I'm running and I won't touch ground. Oh no, I've got to keep on moving. And every time I felt like something was roadblocking me, or I just couldn't push through, I would always play that song or think of that song, and it kind of gave me some oomph to get going. And then another one,
Second band.
Tracy just woke up, so you might hear some commentary there. Another one that had really spoken to me, I was going through a breakup, and it was a pretty significant one.
Yep.
And
people are here when they do that.
The line that stuck in my head, it was Richard Marx, "Hold On to the Nights." And the line that just held me and kind of became a mantra for a little while, was, "I think that I've been true to everybody else but me." And I realized how much of myself I had sacrificed and how one-sided it was in that relationship. And reminding myself of that kind of helped me get through it and get past it and really grow as a person. And so I think of song lyrics. I used to write songs. I was friends with a really great guy who was a guitarist, and he and I spent so many hours, countless hours, writing music together. And I would do the lyrics and he would do the music, and we just worked really, really well. And we spent a lot of time doing that, and it was just such a powerful thing. And so lyrics have always been something that that just really held my heart. And there, another one was Man in Motion. If you've ever heard that song, that one was really powerful as well. So pay attention to some song lyrics. If you don't, if you just kind of like listen and bop through it, and see what lyrics hold you, because sometimes they just speak directly to your heart. So I have long drooled over this skein. I have never been able to get it to decide what it wants to be. But this is the Apple Blossom colorway, called Apple Blossom Bling. And it was hand dyed by Rags Fiber, who is a wonderful, wonderful dyer out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And get this close and see if you can see some of that bling in there. It is definitely sparkly. And here in this area, we have in Winchester the Apple Blossom Festival every year. And sadly, with COVID, obviously, we're not really having any events. But these are the Apple Blossom colors, the official ones. When you go through Winchester, everybody will put out banners for Apple Blossom. People will do, they spray paint, like, or chalk paint, whatever is like ecologically friendly, but they paint apple blossoms in the road. They like shut down the walking mall for like all these events. There are dances, and Apple Blossom is a huge deal out here, like in Winchester, Virginia. I'm a little south in Front Royal. But these are the Apple Blossom colors, and it was the Apple Blossom colorway for last year. And since we are probably, as far as I know, not having any Apple Blossom events this year, which is terribly sad, I thought that I could share some Apple Blossomy goodness with one of you guys. So, here's what we're going to do.
Oh, that was a good spot.
On my Instagram, which is Tranquil Cottage Knits, I will post the giveaway. You just go on there, find that post, like, click the little heart. So, like my post, share my post, and tag 3 people. And then here's the big part, the hard part. I would love it if you would tell me a song lyric that holds your heart, that means something to you, and who it's by.
You.
And it's okay if it's
it's
it's okay if somebody else redid it, and I just really want to maybe open myself up to some new music and things like that. And this is the very last skein of Apple Blossom Bling.
That's a blonde thing.
By the wonderful Rags Fiber that is in existence. Every other one is in somebody's stash or knit up already. So this is for one of you guys. So as soon as I get this uploaded and get this ready to go, I will post on Instagram with a link, or not a link, I'm sorry, with the information on this video and how to win this one for yourself. I like to do 30-day contests. So April 18th, I'm like, what month is this? April 18th, I will close it all off, and I will choose one winner at random to get this lovely yarn in the mail. And I hope it's you, or maybe you. Could be you. So I just want to know, did you like my post? Can you please share my post? Can you tag 3 friends?
Yeah.
And what songs am I missing out on? Like, what lyrics that speak to your heart that I don't know about yet? So, here we all go. That is it for this episode. I think it was, 41, 42? My maths are broken. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I am sorry it's been so long, but I am so glad to be back. I am so glad one of you is going to get the opportunity to have this smushy, wonderful yarn and actually get to meet Rags Fiber, who is an indie dyer, and get a little Rags Fiber in your life. And I will talk to you guys soon. Mwah!